According to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 19 and 20, there is a narrative there where Adam was asked to name animals. And we're told, according to that text, he called the names of each and every animal, and so they became. And most of us, we refer it to an art of creation, and however we might have seen it to be. But what does it really mean? Today I am at the Blaine Soccer Complex, where it's a national veterans tournament for the Cameroonians. They are celebrating and they're enjoying. There's beautiful soccer games, foods, and every activities is happening in each and every place around me. But what is the relevance there? I consider this moment as a moment where I call it's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful experience. I'm immersed in each and every celebration. I am not a soccer player today, I used to, but as I see them celebrated and enjoy each and every moment, I enjoy with them. As I walked around the food court, I looked at all the type of food and people are enjoying. I enjoy with them. I didn't partake in much of the food. I was already full by the time I got here, but it's beautiful. The music, the smile that you see in people. It's like they forgot the pain they go through each and every night. The joy that is demonstrated in each one of them is just astonishing in its nature. To each one of them, if you ask, they have called this moment beautiful. They call it according to that which was interested to them. And consistent with that which they call, they're experiencing it. And I can see, of course, there are those who are walking with their shoulders down, those who lost in this tournament. But they chose to consider that as a loss. So therefore, their body language, their facial expression correspond to that which they named. Today, you might be going through some challenges in your life, some difficulties. The choice is yours. Animals signify the outer nature of things. You will say somebody, you look like an animal. It's the behavior that is exhibited before our eyes. And that's what animal represent. And if we are told from that scripture informs us, if we call things based on what we see, you see something that is unpleasant, and we find it is reasonable to call it unpleasant. We see a hurt and we call it a hurt. We see a disappointment and we call it a disappointment. But in doing so, we are perpetuating the pain and the heaviness of the thing that we call on ourselves. It's not about the circumstances. It's not about the environment. It is our engagement with that environment and the experience we draw from it. If we engage in the environment in a manner that is unhealthy, therefore we dress ourselves in an unhealthy nature and therefore experience life in that manner. So in this very moment, as you go about your day, you have a choice to see the environment and call that environment consistent with what it appears, or decided to give it a different name. And you're told, consistent with the name or the nature you give to it, or meaning you draw from it, so you will experience life, so it becomes. My advice, as I have done in a day or two, I went to a gas station and I was about to put gas, but I was not pleased by the price of the gas price, because I knew of another place which was much cheaper. So I decided not to put gas there and I went to the next place. But I was kind of not happier that place suddenly raised the price. And when I was leaving the gas pump and I pulled aside, I wanted to vacuum the car. There was a line in the vacuum and I complained about the line as I saw it. So I felt the heaviness on me for calling it as such. I asked why people are doing they're vacuuming the car this time. So I was doing the same. By why I asked of them, just because it was inconveniencing me, I questioned another. And I left there, went to another place looking for the same thing. And when I got there, I found the same environment and the experience was pretty much the same. As I pulled out that location from putting gas, at that time the price was cheaper. But guess what? The line was quite long. So I was disappointed by that event, and I call it as I saw, and I felt the heaviness of being in a place where I could not put gas because the line is longer. I left there, I was not patient enough, and I left and I went to another gas station that was on my way to where I was going. And I knew that gas station usually it's a little bit cheaper. And I figure since it's my way, I would stop by there and put gas. And when I got there, guess what? All the pumps in that gas stations were out of service. So 3 locations, disappointment. And it was at that moment I recognized that I have called each and every environment that which I saw. That which I call each animal, and the name I gave, the experience, the name, the nature I saw, I gave it a name. And that name added weight and heaviness upon me. And so I continued to experience of the same, because I was in that nature. The moment I recognized that, I changed the narrative in my mind. I told myself that all things are working for the good of my interest. All things, I don't care what they appear. All things are working for the good of me. And guess what I did? I called a different nature. I gave a different name to a different animal. And as a result, I pulled out of that parking lot of that gas station. I went to the next one and I was able to put gas. There was no lines. The price was cheaper than each one of those I stopped at. And there was no line at all. It was easier, convenient, and quicker. I put my gas and on my way I went. The moral of the lesson of the story is we always have an option to change the story of what we see. We are not bound to experience or to speak or call the animal based on its nature. We can change the nature, we can change our environment, you can change that which you see. You can choose to see beauty in the midst of ashes. You can choose to see life in the midst of death. You can choose to see joy in the midst of pain. The choice is yours because it's in your mind. And when you make that choice, you bring sanity to yourself, a peace of mind, which is more valuable and more precious than gold and diamond. So today, exercise that and see how your day will become. I ask you that you follow us, subscribe, share, and comments are more welcome. Until then, I'll be back.